everybody, Sam here. Hope you're having a great day wherever you're at in the world today. I am so excited to be here for another micro interview. If you are new to Safe Heart Connections, we're glad you found us. If you've been around for a while, we're glad you're back. And you know that we are an online community group for women who are working on learning to love ourselves more fully. And by default, we have the lives that we were meant to live. And it is a beautiful thing. I do these micro interviews to help you learn about other women in the world that are doing great things that might be able to support you along your journey in life. And I have Cleoniki with me today. She is a copywriter, and I am so excited to share her with you. We had a great conversation recently, and I'm like, I have to interview you. So what is your thought, tip, or piece of advice, Cleoniki? And I am so just truly excited to hear from you.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for having me, Sam. I'm really excited to be here. Yeah, so my piece of advice is pretty general, but I think it's something that can be really impactful. So, just to explain where I'm coming from here. So, I started my business during the pandemic, been running my own business since then. And around shortly after that, I'd had my first child. And then, unfortunately, shortly after that, I got divorced. So, I had a period in my life where really things were changing really rapidly and really profoundly. And the lesson that I took from that I want to share with everybody today is just how much is possible and is allowed if you just step off of what feels like the path and what feels like has to happen. There are, of course, things that are impossible and problems that are really challenging to solve, but there are a lot of problems that we're all dealing with um, that we could solve, and a lot of goals that we could reach. And it just takes the courage to step off of the path that you feel like you have to be on, or that you feel like is right, or to change what you thought was your plan, your vision of what things were going to be, and all of that. So I really encourage people, if they're feeling stuck in a particular place or feeling like they can't see a way around a particular solution, to just step back and think, what if I just dropped all the assumptions? What if I stopped feeling, oh, of course it has to be like that, and of course I have to do this, and my life has to look this way? What kind of assumptions can you drop? And how can you do something that's maybe a little bit more radical and feels a little bit more wild, a little bit crazy, but that's not dangerous? And to get around that, because there is so much that's in that category. We're not going into dangerous category, but there's so much between what feels safe and correct and the right way to do things.
Yeah.
And there's just so much space to explore, and you just have to take off those blinders and go, oh, like, what
That's
is
so
the
good.
assumptions?
That is so good. And so I just actually interviewed someone else, and I don't know if your interview is going to go before or after hers, but she has a movement called Good Girl Gone Bold.
Love that.
Good Girl Gone Bold. And that the fact is that we do so much in our life, especially as women, based on things we were told we should do, or we
Mhm.
had to do, or it's the proper thing, or we just don't want to rock the boat. And so first of all, I'm sad about your divorce. Even when it's right, it's hard, right? It
Yeah,
is
yeah. A
hard.
much better place now.
And so,
Going
yeah. And so
yeah.
sometimes, but if you had stayed stuck, and hear me, women, I don't necessarily advocate for divorce, but what I do advocate for is you being safe and taking care of yourself in a way that shows yourself honor and respect and kindness and love. And so many women stay in a marriage because they believe they have to. And
Yeah.
from my heart to yours, if you're in a bad place, abusive, manipulative, controlling, any of those things, and you realize, oh, I made a bad choice. Maybe you did, or maybe the situation changed, but just because you made that choice doesn't mean you have to stay in that choice. And it is a balancing act, though, right? And this is coming from me. I've been married and divorced multiple times. And it's exhausting, the pain and the sadness that happen, even when it's right, even when it's the right thing to do. And so I am honored that you're here sharing part of your story, and that the fact that you have a kiddo and that you're doing what's right for you, because what'll happen is, and maybe you don't even know this yet because you are a little bit younger than me. I think you're probably my daughter's age. You may be younger than my daughter, and that's okay. But is that because you're doing this to create the life that you need to have, you're going to be able to be a better parent. And when a woman or a man stays in a situation where they feel stuck and it's, oh my gosh, how did I get here? It's not good for anybody. So take off the blinders, take off the assumptions, take off the thing of, I have to be this way, I have to be that way. My life was supposed to be. Yeah, maybe you thought it was supposed to be that way, but it's not. And you know what? It can still be good.
And
It
that
can
applies to
still be good.
yeah, that can apply to your job, you whatever. I did all this training and I started this career and I thought this was the job I wanted and now this isn't what's working for me. You're allowed to change. Like step outside the box. Where can you go from there? That's something that I help a lot of people with. I work with a lot of course creators and do copywriting for them to launch often new businesses and new courses. And a lot of times it's people who've just decided, you know what, I'm not going to stay stuck in the way that my life looks like right now. I'm going to
Yeah,
go in a different direction. And
you're
so,
so right.
yeah, yeah, the way we
I've heard a lot of people that say that, oh my gosh, I spent all this money going to college for XYZ and now I don't want to do XYZ. How do I just let go of that investment? Yeah, maybe you aren't using that, but I can guarantee you learn things during that
yeah,
process. Whether you're using the tactical part of it that you learn about who you are, none of that stuff's ever wasted, in my opinion. You
no,
just use it in a different way.
no, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, the only waste or regret is if you stay in something, whether that's a job or a relationship or whatever it is, a location longer than you're supposed to because of that feeling that sort of that sunk cost fallacy, that just that feeling that, oh, I have to live like this forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful that we got connected, and I've been looking at some of your stuff. And if anybody's looking for a good copywriter, and I've been watching some of the stuff you put on social and things, and I would highly suggest if you are a business owner looking for better copy, I know a girl, and
Thank you,
I'm
Sam.
so happy. I'm so happy to be connected to you. Do you have any kind of final thoughts before we wrap up for today?
Yeah, I would say if that feels overwhelming to you, to take off those blinders, start with something small. Start today. Just do a little something that breaks you out of your routine or what you feel like has to happen and see where it leads you.
Yeah. And ladies, if you do something, I'd love to know what it is.
Yeah.
Wherever you're watching or listening on for online or in the community, Cleoniki's contact information, her links to click through will be there. And I'm sure if you do something to break out of the assumptive box and take those blinders off, I'm sure she'd like to know as well.
Yeah, tell me for sure.
All right. Have a great day. I will see you later.
Bye.
Bye bye.